Hi there. I want to talk about inserting the information from your annual comprehensive financial report for your community, if you're in the United States, and inserting it into the Strong Towns Finance Decoder. We've created this tool to make it simpler and easier for you to be able to pull up the information that you need. In this case, if we scroll down, I know that already on page 24, that's where we're going to find the information that I need because I did peek. But you can see that this won an award for excellence in financial reporting. Largely that's due to the way in which there are text descriptions of various activities, as well as things like an index and a table of contents, that sort of stuff. But if we skip ahead to page 24, that's where we're going to see the management's discussion and analysis. That's what MD&A stands for, is management's discussion and analysis. And we've helpfully provided you with some indication of where you're likely to find this. So here I'm looking for net position, and my first item that I want to find is my current and other assets. And I'm going to take note of the fact that this says it is in millions. So I can actually just come into here and select millions from this. And then I'm going to do one other thing just for quality of life, which is actually go and hide. Actually, we'll keep the 2023 numbers because we might be able to do both of them at the same time. So we're going to use our most recent data first. We're looking at item 6 here is our current assets. So let's go find that in our report. There it is, current and other assets. You can see the exact same text, the exact same wording. And so we're combining governmental activities and business type activities. So that way we are here grabbing 2360.3. Now, oh, I see I'm grabbing my face in the Zoom call here. But you'll notice one of the things that is curious about some of these reports is at least text is identified, has been OCR'd here, but you can't copy it. So it will result in just having to type those in, which can reduce the, increase rather, the likelihood of a typo. So just double check your work as you go. So I'm looking 2360.3 is the first number that I want to put in. I'm going to put that in here, 2360.3. Let me double check. Did I get it right? Yes. And while I'm at it, I'm going to add in my 2023 numbers, 2156.9. 2156.9. Don't be alarmed if it rounds. That's just for making it a little bit easier. That's a very marginal rounding and won't be much of a trouble. Now we're going to look for our capital assets again for 2024. And I want to find our capital assets is right here. And that is net. It's really helpful when they add it up for you. Most of the time that they do, there are certain instances where you have to do that math yourself, depending on whether or not they won awards for their reporting or not. If they didn't win the award, it might be because they didn't do some of these little extra things that are our quality of life improvements for people within our community. So we're looking here, 2024 capital assets, 3159.9. 3159.9. And I will say, I'm doing this tutorial partly ironically because I am not a numbers person and I often get things mixed up, and yet I'm just encouraging you that this is totally doable. And so if you ever feel like, wow, this is quite daunting, one of the things that gives me a little thrill is when I see what I need to find and then I all of a sudden go and take a look and I'm like, it's there. And I can just enter that in. But my one, well, I have many Achilles heels, but in particular, it's mixing up decimals, mixing up numbers as I put them in, and messing up dates and times. But so whatever day today is, I don't know, but I do know that I can find the 2023 numbers just by looking over here. So I'm going to go switch back to my other thing, and I'm looking for 2023. We're looking at 3037.8. You'll have to bear with me. I would probably be a really bad accountant because I actually find I have to speak out the numbers out loud in order to promote accuracy. It's just a me thing. So we can double check. So 5195 is the combined total assets for 2023. Let's double check if that's about right. Yep. So just a bit of rounding, but that'll actually not factor into the graphs either as we go. Now we've got two more columns. We've got deferred outflows and deferred inflows. So I'm going to bring those in. So 147.5 is our next one, 147.5. You can see how it's still in the same section here, the MD&A under net position, under deferred outflows. And we're just going to drop this in to this space up over here. All right. Let me just move my little Zoom face over. There we go. I need my 2023 numbers. There we go. Okay, 2023. Let's find the deferred outflow is 131.7. Now, liabilities we'll come back to. I like to do deferred inflows next. So that I'm looking at the 2024 numbers. I want 66.1, and then let's see if I can remember 41.7, I believe was the other one. Again, this is my brain conspiring against me, but I got it right. Good. Now we're going to look at our total liabilities. So not just our current liabilities. You can see they're rather small, but long-term liabilities are the ones that, as part of a Strong Towns approach, we definitely want to focus in on. In fact, I can make this screen just a little bit larger for you as well, just to see if that helps. So total liabilities for 2024, 1395.1. And while we're at it, we can grab our 2023 numbers, 1421.9. Okay. Now we are moving on to, we're still in the same section, but we now need to move on to changes in net position. And I'll tell you, it feels so good when you're like, whoop, I moved on to the next page and it's right there. Again, these are not discrete things. Well, I don't have to go too much into what the origin of our decoder was, but we didn't set out to do something totally radically different. We wanted to work with existing documents and be able to identify within them more of the story, more of the indications of what we need as to whether our communities are becoming more and more resilient and vibrant, or whether they are actually becoming more resource depleted and fragile. And so 2024 total revenues, 1488.8. Again, that's in millions. And so I'm just going to tab over 1488.8. Yes, doing math with Norm. Welcome. And then 1493.9 is our other. Oh, that's what I did wrong. 1493.9, 1488.8. Let's see, double check. Yes. All right. So that's our revenues. And now we're going to carve out, in particular, our operating grants and contributions, and then our capital grants. This is revenue. So don't feel like you have to extract it, just include it. One of our goals was to make sure you didn't have to do too much math. So we're looking at 89.7 on our operating grants for 2024. And we're going to grab that 2023 number is 116.2. Now we're also going to grab our capital grants. 108.7 is 2024. And our 2023 number is 99.9. Good. All right, so we're making progress. We're also going to look for interest charges. So we're going to see not interest earnings, but instead we're going to look at any of our interest here. So we've got interest on long-term debt, and our 2024, let's just make sure I've got my nice. So this is my column I want to look at. Interest in long-term debt is 10.4 and 10.3. So we'll keep that in mind. 10.4 for this year and 10.3 for the prior year. And then we are looking at this one. And I actually created a little note here because I had to go and do a quick check-in. I said, is this a problem because I can't find the capital assets or the place that I want to look at? And Linda assured me it is almost always the same as what you have in row 6. That's why we said it's still in your MD&A and it's your capital assets net of depreciation. And if we see that in here, if we come back to the MD&A, this is our total assets net. And so we're going to grab that from line 6. Sorry, line 7. And where's 3038? Actually, let's grab the, yep, and 3159.9. That's our capital assets. So I should have written, that's the same as line note as 7. Okay, now we're going to move on to notes of the financial statements, and we're going to go down to note 6 in the document. So I've already pre-highlighted it here. This is notes to the financial statements. In this case, what I actually want to scroll down to is through the first little while. We're going to scroll right down to note 6. And they're pretty consistent. So this is still note 1. Looks like we're on to note 2. Note 4. Sometimes they go quick. Now we're into note 6, capital assets. So you can see we're in the notes to the financial statements. So let's just double check that we're in the right spot. Yep. And we're under capital assets. Right here, we've got governmental activities. So this is what we're going to want to measure. And we're looking for, here's our 2023 number, here's our 2024 number. So the first thing that we're going to look at is we're going to find total capital assets not being depreciated. I'll set that up. So total capital assets not depreciated, land, construction, total capital assets not being 850,079,951. So because we set at the beginning our units to millions, what we're going to do here is we're going to do 852.1 as our in millions how much we're dealing with. So 852.1, just rounding up from that 079. And then let's find the 2023 number is 7907.7. All right. 790.7. So I'm just keeping it consistent. They didn't, which is fine. That they're allowed to, but we want to just so that way it makes sense. Now what we're going to look for is our next section, total capital assets being depreciated. So these are the ones that are depreciated and amortized is the same, largely the same. Don't come after me if you're an accountant. 2658.7 is what it is in millions for 2024, 2658.7. And now we're going to look at our 2023 number, 2544.0. 2544. Did I get that right? Yes. All right, my numbers are working. Now we're going to go to government other assets under governmental activities, just to see if they have anything else that is showing up. Sometimes they don't. Let's see if there's total governmental activities, capital assets, business type activities. Because right now we're going to move on to the next one. See, this is one of the differences between the Canadian worksheet and the American one is that the Canadian worksheet, this is combined, whereas in the United States, it is not. So now we are on track because we've got our business type activities, and now we're doing the same thing. So we're looking at total capital assets not depreciated, 248.4 million, 248.4, and I entered that in the wrong cell, 248.4. Now we're going to do the same thing over here to see 201.2. Business assets being depreciated, we're going to come down to here, total assets depreciated and amortized. Okay, so here we total capital assets depreciated and amortized. So 1869.1, 1896.1. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes. And then 1811.6. There we go. All right, now we need our business other assets. Are there any others that are showing up? No, that is what they have given us. So now we're going to scroll on down and realize that we've completed it. So we can see what the raw ratios look like. But now for the payoff, you get to go and check your results. So you can see we have a limited amount here. And because I hid those columns, the only ones that are showing up are in here. But as our members continue to populate these things, they will show up there. The last thing that I would ask you to do is once you have, so here, let me pull up my little tab bar. So I've done this Collier County Finance Decoder. I will send this back to the member and just share it with them. But then what you can do is if you save it so that anyone can view and just make that a viewer, then copy that link and then come over to, we're going to go to Strong Towns. That's not my, strongtowns.org/decoder. And what you're going to do is just scroll down to this little section here. Share your results. There we go. And it'll prompt you to drop that in. You'll press enter. This one isn't complete, so I will make sure that I don't submit this, but that's what you would do. All right. Hope that's helpful. Thank you.